Hi, everyone, and welcome to Chair Yoga. Today, I'm going to focus on some twisting action, some centering, and some really focus on the Mula Bandha, the use of the core strength that is a part of the Sushumna energy trail. It's often called the central channel. So physically, that's what you can look forward to. As far as everything else, I'm asking you to take a look at what you might be able to release today. What could you release? And we have a poem. This is a familiar poem, but it's a good one to get started with. So rather than closing with it, I would like to open with it. So I'm going to ask you to sit tall in your chairs, bring your feet to the floor, and use the practices you are already well aware of, bringing yourself into a place of right alignment, making sure you're holding your body upright and you're allowing your chest cavity to kind of center itself with the hips and your pelvis area so that you feel like you're in a proper place of right alignment. Use the block. I encourage you to use the block between your thighs so that you can, right off the bat here, begin that process of drawing yourself in toward the central channel. And then you can rely on the strength that's there once you get there with your awareness. So let's close the eyes down and begin to connect with the breath, finding the fullness of your breath cycle, any way that feels natural to you. And I'll begin, like I said, with this poem, Let It Go. Let go of the ways you thought life would unfold. The holding of plans or dreams or expectations. Let it all go. Save your strength to swim with the tide. The choice to fight what is here before you now will only result in struggle, fear, and desperate attempts to flee from the very energy you long for. Let go. Let it all go and flow with grace. The grace that washes through your days, whether you receive it gently or with all your quills raised to defend against invaders. Take this on faith. The mind may never find the explanations that it seeks, but you will move forward nonetheless. Let go, and the wave's crest will carry you to unknown shores beyond your wildest dreams or destinations. Let it all go and find the place of rest and peace and certain transformation. So keep your eyes closed now as you bring yourself into this intentional transitional time. I'll join you in just a moment. Let's flip our hands so palms are facing up if you haven't done that already. And again, just do a quick body scan. Feel your feet press into the floor and feel how that engagement travels up through the legs, right into the inner thighs where you're squeezing the block. Pull it into your belly, the low belly, and let it rise up through your whole trunk of your body. Keep elbows squeezing in toward the waistline and feel your spine lengthen so it just allows your head to float, lift, and float as you breathe all the way in and all the way out. Palms open, of course, is that gesture of receiving, but it's also a nice gesture. It certainly speaks to me as one of letting go. What can you release out of those open palms today? Set your particular intention now, what it is that brought you to yoga today. Remember, this is always an inner conversation because this is for you. This practice, this embodiment practice is for you. Soften the mouth, relax the tension that might be in the jaw or the tongue and all of the facial muscles. You never need to have tension there. Let me remind you, you never need to hold tension in any of that. And so it is. Let's just say we have set that intention for ourselves and we'll let it go. Let it just be there and we can move on with our awareness of the body today. Let's flutter the eyes open. Let's take a big breath as we bring palms together up and overhead. Exhale, bow into the heart. I want you to pause there. Palms are together at the heart space. Feel how your strength of your spine has been lifted and you're able to tilt your head down into a beautiful bowing. So a couple different ways we can experience this. Of course, just the sacredness of it, but also the physicality of it, that you're feeling how you're releasing tension in the back of your neck, letting the weight of your head drop towards your chest, and just allow that to release, even if it's just a subtle release. Let's come back to the breath now as we inhale again. Palms are up and overhead, and exhale as arms come all the way around. Let's do a couple backstrokes like that. Inhaling up, big circle, all the way back and down. Just stay with it. Just stay with it. Trying to connect your breath right from the beginning. The vinyasa style of yoga is very useful for the body-mind connection. And it certainly adds a sort of flow and ease once we get that hang of that. Beautiful. Let's just do some shoulder rolls. Make sure we've loosened it up properly. So start with up, back, and down. Mental note to myself, a dark top doesn't work completely very well with this because you probably can't see my body in motion like you typically do to make sure you're understanding what I'm saying. I'll correct that next time. But for now, it really served me well to have this nice warm sweater. And let's change the direction of this shoulder rolls. And let your head move gently if it just feels like, because of course, there's so much connection between your neck and your shoulders that you can't help but sort of want to add to any loosening up you can get. Now, I've been on this kick of incorporating this movement like a swimming stroke, so bear with me now. Individual shoulder rolls moving forward, coming forward with the shoulder, and then let that extend into the full swing of your arm and turn your head as if you were taking a swimming stroke. Slow it down enough so you can feel that movement. Turn your head and breathe. It's at your pace, your breath rhythm. That's what you're following. One more on each arm. I don't know about you, but I think that feels pretty great. And then let's lift all the way up. Palms face forward, reach for the ceiling, press your feet to the floor so you got your whole body. It's like a full body stretch. And as we exhale down, palms are facing up and we've opened up the hands. Stretch the fingers apart, spread through the palm of the hand. Take a glance from side to side. Keep the pressure on the feet. Deepen the breath. And you know, we're just a few minutes into our practice. And can you feel it already? That mindful breathing, the deeper breaths, the consistency of that, and how much better you feel. I think it's profound. So this is all about stretching your neck. It's getting to know the range of movement you've got available in your neck today. And it creates some upper body strength. As we lift and extend those arms, we're building up good muscle tone, good strength of the upper body. Let's come back to neutral now, and I want you to bend your elbows, but one arm in front and one arm in back, but they're shaped the same. Let's press the back hand into the back body and turn to look in the direction of the arm that's in front. Just press a little bit in the back. And remember that every time you slip your hand behind you, you're going to press. You're going to press the back hand into the back body. and it's quite a ways over toward the other side. Notice how you can't see my arm. It's not held here. It's way back there. This might be very familiar to some of you, but some of you maybe watching on YouTube, it would be brand new. So let's open that up again and find that same thing. Only we're going to change the arm, what's in front, and the arm that's in back. Press into the hand in the back, turn your head. Now let's keep the head neutral. What I mean by that is you're not going to dip your chin down or raise it up. So keep your jawline and your chin sort of parallel to the floor. Now breathe in and out. Now I want you to try a nice flow with this, that you're going to just trade, press in immediately, turn your head, breathe your way to the other side, press immediately into the back body, turn your head gently, and just flow. So no pressure. You're not going to strain your neck. You're going to invite that movement of the head and neck on a repeated basis here. Always switching, so you change from one side to the other. And there's something about the mind-body connection. So this energy of right and left, the connection of the body's right side and left side, we're kind of playing with that right now. Couple more now, stay with it. Breathe nice and easy, no forcing and no rushing. You might find that one side really needs your attention, so you hang out there a while. I really encourage that. Last time now, let's come back to neutral and let our arms come alongside the frame of the chair, palms face forward. Press your feet into the floor and give that block a squeeze. Inhale with me, palms come together. I want you to hold them and try to straighten out your elbows. Palms pressed, but elbows are trying to straighten out. Now feel that. And keep those palms together as you just lean over to the side, not so much so that you feel a listing of your hips and buttocks. I want you to stay level in your hips, level in the pelvis. So it might not be hardly any movement at all, because that's going to be a priority, that we keep that connection of the pelvis level. And then, just change sides when you're ready to keep your arms straight and right past your ears, if possible. And be sure to exhale completely. So we'll do one more on each side, kind of your own timing. Keep your feet planted. You feel that connection of the legs as you squeeze into the block. And let's come back up to center. Take your inhale with me. Exhale, we'll bow into the heart space. Inhale up, then exhale with a big sweeping action all the way around. I want you to get a hold of your block now. Just hold on to it and just let yourself swing side to side with that. But imagine you still have a block there. I don't want your legs to move with it. I want you to keep your legs just as steady as if you had the block there, but instead you're going to use the block to just carry you from side to side. Let your head move as your head wants to move. And let this be kind of, non-linear. You're not trying to be a robot here. You're just trying to find some fluid movement and let the block just kind of keep you in some sort of alignment. Your hands have to stay in a certain position. So there's going to be some kind of alignment there. And then just circle around. Find your breath deepen. Let it deepen. Go as far into this range of movement that you want to, just as far back over and side. And then we're going to bring that up. So it's overhead. Keep your feet nice and planted, and as best you can, it feels like you still have that block between your thighs. Let's go back and forward with it. So go way back, bending the elbows and pulling back. And just notice how you're feeling this in your body. Where's the stretching? And where's the place that needs your particular attention? Like, who knew, that was so tight? And then I want you to reach way out with it and wait, and then come back up. So come forward, trying just some gentle folds forward. Manage the weight of your head. So you don't want to strain your neck by doing this. Just keep in mind that the head is heavy. So as you come forward and back, you got to just pay attention to managing that weight. This next time I'm going to put the block on the floor. So let's extend all the way out, go slow. So you can find your level, how high you want that block placed. So you can fold down and look down, 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 and underneath the chair. Deepen the breath. At this point, we're trying to breathe into the belly and really notice that, the movement of the belly as you breathe, and that interaction of the moving belly with your thighs. It's all good for those internal organs, creating more circulation, fresh supply of oxygen, and blood flow is improving. So we're really taking care of the internal organs, and we're primarily talking about the organs of digestion. Grab hold of that block as you come up. So take it easy. Maybe bring the block closer to you. You can feel the difference. Just to remind you, if you're holding the block way out in front of you, that's great, but make sure your low back is also thinks it's great. Or else you might bring the block closer to you to bring yourself upright. And then we're going to come on up and hold it above the head. Take that slight side bend now. We did it a moment ago. Arms are going to still be very extended with as little bend in the elbow as possible. But because we have our hands, the block between our hands, it feels a little different from that, bringing those hands and palms pressed together. It's a little easier on the shoulders, probably. Keep the block in your left hand and bring it all the way down, all the way down. I've got it on its high side. And then tilt your head so your ear is facing the hand on the block, and take a look up in any direction now. Let's put a mitten hand on that hand that's extending up, just to be more particular about it. Breathe in and breathe out. And if you feel like you put the block way too far away from the chair because you're just listing up in your pelvis, just adjust it. Just bring your block a little closer to the chair so you can feel that your pelvis is still in right alignment. Deepen the breath for me. Pick up the block and bring it back upright. Take a pause here, catching up with your breath, maybe resetting the body. I want you to drop the block behind your head and keep your elbows squeezing toward the midline. Can you find the rhythm of your breath? Where does it feel good to do the inhale and where's the exhale? Let's lift it up, and we'll try the other side. So keep one arm extended as you bring the other hand all the way down so the block can be on the floor. Tilt your head in such a way that your ear is facing your hand on the block. Let's put the mitten hand on the hand that's extended up, and turn to look up in any way that feels good for your neck. Keep your pelvis in right alignment. So that's the right to left, left to right kind of balance. Feels like you're balanced as best as possible. I get it. We've shoved all our body weight over to one side. So there's bound to be a lift in some way, but we can kind of mitigate that. We can just bring awareness to that side so that that shift of body weight is more in the upper body and less so in the pelvis. Let's deepen the breath. Remember, we want the full exhalation. Good. When we come up again, we've got the block in hand, and we're going to just raise it above the head and come back and forth, dropping that block behind the head. One more time as we kind of stretch it forward and back. Here's a way that you might change that up, just in case this is, that you just draw it into you instead. You don't have to continually hold the arms extended. Maybe pulling it in, it feels better in your back, in your low back. It just manages your weight better. So remember, you could scoop it back instead of just extend. We're going to land on the floor though, so let's extend and take your time and let the block come to the floor in front of you. And then let it stretch you, help it, push that block as far away from your feet as you're able to do. And that helps you to extend the upper body. But then let's release it so that our hands are on our feet or on the floor near the feet. Let's deepen the breath. We're back to the belly breath. Intentional about that. One more full breath cycle. One hand at a time jumps to your thighs, squeeze your elbows into your waist. Let's come up about halfway. And we're going to work through the perineum now. So we're going to press your hands into the thighs. Elbows are squeezing into the waistline. So inhale as you press your hands into the thighs, you're floating the perineum up off the chair and holding it for your inhale. Exhale, soften and release. Inhale, work it now. Lift and hold, toning that pelvic floor. And if you're like me and you like to incorporate that vagal toning, then you just add the shape of your mouth into a shape of an O. So the inhale comes through that vacuum hose. And just that will bring you into, contact with the vagus nerve. So stay with it. We're going to do several here. So stay with it. Your method of doing it. And remember, retention is how you increase or improve this for yourself. Like, how can I get better at it? Or what's the challenge? However you view that, it's retention. It's about holding it and just holding that and breathing through it. Feel how your feet press into the ground as you lift your perineum up off that chair seat. So you're feeling the strength of your legs. Get really good at lifting up. So this is what we're getting in touch with, is what's called the Mula Bandha. It's the base of the central channel. It is core strength at its finest. Lift and hold for me. Lift and hold that perineum up, but at the same time, you're breathing in and breathing out. So it's very engaged in your legs and in your buttocks, all through the pelvis, really. Can you spread your arms away from you like wings? Keep breathing in and out. Keep lifting and holding the perineum. And then we're going to release that, soften it, bring palms together overhead. Just take a pause as your body relaxes and softens into the chair. Catch up with your breath in case you've lost that connection. Just take a moment. We'll inhale together and exhale here at the heart. Inhale up and exhale all the way down. Look where we're coming. We're coming into bent elbows. Press that back hand into the back body. Come back up. And let's switch. So I've changed it a little bit, bigger, more sweeping arms. One more on each side. Press immediately into the back body. Turn your head toward the front arm. And just notice how your neck feels now. Just take a moment here. Just hold it. Just notice how it feels in your neck. Loosening up, I hope. And let's soften and release. Let's find our mountain pose. Close your eyes so you can just feel your way into your body now. The block is on the floor, but feel it in between your thighs. Just imagine that you can feel the squeeze of the block between your thighs. That brings you into the perineum, doesn't it? Can you feel that a little bit? So we're into the Mula Bandha. I want you to breathe up all the way through the length of your spine to the crown of your head, and let it start right where you feel it in your pelvis coming up, and let it come up through the spine to the crown of the head. Exhale back down into the perineum where that Mula Bandha resides. Eyes closed will help you stay focused. Concentrate on the movement of the breath through the spine. And even if your awareness of what I'm calling the Mula Bandha is very slight, not sure if you got it, not sure if you know what the heck this means or why we're doing it, see if you can just find the subtlety of it, any amount, and breathe through the length of your spine. This central channel, called the Sushumna energy channel, Sushumna Nadi to be specific, is considered the power source for the body. It's like the the battery that we rely on energetically. It runs alongside the spine. It's not the same as the spinal column. Beautiful. Thank you for doing that. Let's come up now, palms together overhead. Exhale now into your heart. Inhale up and exhale all the way down. Now let's hold on to the chair. So get your hands holding on to the chair behind you. So you're going to feel the arch of your back body. And we're going to start lifting the feet up off the floor. Make sure your legs are staying centered now. We're trying to stay within the frame of the chair, more specifically within the frame of your hips. Now I'm having you put your hands, hold yourself in onto the chair with your hands holding onto the chair. Now that's great, and I think it's very useful, but if we're looking for ways to improve our basic core strength, we won't use that. We'll bring our hands to our waist instead, and we'll use the core strength to keep us centered instead of holding onto the chair, because then we're really relying on that chair. Now, it's no problem if that still works better for you. If you're thinking, well, maybe later, but right now, in my practice, holding onto the chair is pretty important. Well, then by all means, do that. Lift and hold. Change it, lift and hold. Both feet to the floor, both arms in the air. Let's get the kicking going. So as we inhale, we're reaching toward the ceiling. As we exhale, we're kicking a straight leg forward. Let's alternate. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. That's it. Keep it framed between, your movement is framed between your hips, framed within that chair's frame. Sometimes I lose my breath because I'm talking so much. So if you're thinking you're trying to keep up with me, I want you to, for one thing, get your eyes off the screen and keep your focus on your body. But remember, this is your breath rhythm. That's what you're keeping moving here, is your own breath rhythm, not anything you're seeing me do. Let's meet with the arms in the air. Reach up. See if you can get your shoulder blades to slide down so that you're not incorporating that, hunching up and having your shoulders come up towards your ears. That instead, we're really trying to let the shoulder blades slide back down the body, even though our arms are in there. Inhale's here, exhale is simply pulling back. Let's get into the spine a little bit better. So open out wide, palms are facing forward, pull back. Exhale rounds the back body. So inhale opens, you can feel the shoulder blades drawing toward the middle, and exhale rounding through, and you're spreading the shoulder blades apart. That's it. Find this vinyasa. It's all about the spine and the back. Tuck your chin and then open it up. Open, and when we close, let's bring those elbows together, palms together, forearms together in front. And then I just want you to lift up and down. There might be very little range of movement here. That's fine. We're finding any movement, pressing gently with palms and forearms and elbows. Find your breath. Now keep your elbows kind of sort of drawing toward the middle, but we're going to slip our hands to the tops of our shoulders. And now I want you to bring your legs together like a mermaid leg. So elbows are kind of drawing toward that midline, and so are your thighs and your knees. And we're going to do some crunching to bring ourselves up and down now. Kind of a firm connection of feet to the floor. So your legs feel engaged. Let's just do 2 more of these, crunching down. And let's come back up and release all that, even open up your feet a little wider and just kind of shake that loose. Figure 4 is next, but we're going to incorporate a little abdominal training on this as well. So let's start by, I'm going to say, hold on to the chair and get your left foot up there and down. If you're finding, you know what, I actually don't need the chair, I can get it up there without, well, that's great, because that's giving you a little more of that overall core strength. Let's get it up there now and pull it in and massage it a little bit. That's just kind of elementary for us. This is step 1, step 2, step 3 for us, right? We just always are going to offer this up in a little massaging to soften the resistance that we experience. We'll drape our hands past our shin. Use your chest bone, strictly the chest bone, to nudge your way forward. Keep your sit bones, hips, sit bones, really stuck into the chair seat. And so this movement can be very slight for most people. Chin is sort of pulling in toward the throat so your face doesn't get carried away. You know, that's what happens is we stick our face out there and try to deepen this. That's really not what we're looking for. We want the chest bone to drive the bus of this movement forward and ever so slightly. Flex the foot. That top foot should be flexed. I forget to mention that, and oftentimes, and I'll tell you why it's helpful. It stabilizes the knee, because this is not, it's kind of a funky stretch for the knee. Not that it's outside of its range. This is a range of movement our knee can accomplish, but it's not common. So when we flex the foot, it's really stabilizing that knee. So it's a real good idea. Let's deepen the breath. And we come back up. Remember how we had our hand just touching our shoulder and we have our elbow up? I want you to maybe hold on to the chair, maybe just get your hand on your hip so that you can dip down and touch that knee. Find the rhythm of movement. Always come up and down. Because this is helping you to get strength of the core as it relates to the side abdominal wall, the oblique muscles, the transverse abdominis. We want the whole, what we call our core strength, and we think of that as our abs, that we want that whole abdominal wall to be toned and worked, that we're working it a little bit. Hold it now, elbow to the inner knee, and I want you to figure out how to turn your head, where your ear could be facing. And again, you've always got the ability to just hold on to the chair in some way, so it kind of gives you the more support. Breathe in and breathe out. And we'll lift ourselves out of that, and then either hold on to the chair or hands at the waist so we can put that foot back to the floor, and again, back up. And both feet to the floor. Now, if there's any movement your body needs to, kind of shake that loose and reset, let's do that. And then we're time for the other leg. So again, hands at the waist or holding onto the chair. Both are fine. Both are great. So don't think, that you're not doing it right, or darn, I can't do it as well. Just listen to your body. Pay attention to what your body really needs from you and follow it and let the rest go. Last time, let's get it up there and hold it up there, kind of pull it in. Start your massaging. So you automatically are bringing some, release of resistance. Resistance is what shows up first. And we bring our hands to the body, we breathe, and that resistance, that first layer at least, usually goes away. So take your time to make sure you're positioned properly. You've got this, ankle and your leg laying on top of your other thigh and it feels comfortable and doable. And we're going to extend our arms and hands past the shin. Remember, it's chest bone that drives this. Keep your neck and head in alignment with the spine. So don't let your head pull forward. Chest bone is nudging its way forward. It could be very tiny amounts. Breathe into the intensity that you feel. Don't be afraid of it. The breath will actually help it. It's actually quite empowering when we can get to the place where we feel the intensity in the stretch and we are able to breathe into it and with it instead of distracting ourselves or just abandoning it. Breathe into it and with it. Chest bone is leading the way, even though it's very tiny amounts. Opening up that hip. No tension in the mouth. Remember, there's never a reason we need to have a tightness in our facial muscles, in the jaw, the tongue. Soften that up. Let's come back upright. We're going to touch our hand to our shoulder now. Get that. And then either holding onto the chair or hand somewhere at the hip or waistline. Let's bring elbow to knee. Come up and then down. It's a little twisting action. You can slow it way down. You can do it just the way you want. I want you to be aware of your breathing, though. Even if you've decided you're not going to inhale one thing and exhale the other thing, be aware of your breathing, whichever you've chosen. Let's do 3 more. Here's 1. Here's 2. And here's 3. And we're going to hold that a minute. Turn, making sure your head can turn now. You know which way your ear could be facing. Breathe deep. Flex that foot. We'll come back out of it. And again, either holding onto the chair or not. And we're going to bring that foot to the floor and make a couple repeat runs with that. Let's take the wide angle now. And I want you to get your hands on your thighs and just think fluid movement. This is often referred to as nonlinear. Yeah, I guess that would be the opposite of fluid is the opposite of nonlinear, huh? So we're just kind of, or synonymous with, I got it now. Circling around, loosening up through the pelvic bowl. It's as far forward, far to the side, and the back that you can manage. I keep a real firm placement of my hands on my thighs as a source of grounding and stability. Let's change the direction of the circle. If you haven't done it, we want to be sure to change directions at least once. And let's come back to center. I want you to now lean back so that you can get your feet up off the floor. I'm going to say scoop your hands underneath your thighs, lean back into the chair, and feet come down. So there's a rocking forward and back. Keep going. And then let's hold, rock and hold, get your feet up as high as you're able. So you got, if you could, your shins feel parallel to the floor. So you got your feet way up there. Pull your thighs in towards your belly and chest. Make sure you're managing the weight of your head. We don't want any strain in the neck here. And the next rock is going to bring us to standing. So as we bring our feet down, we can boot ourselves up and then just make your way to a standing position, our mountain pose, palms face forward. I'm going to suggest you get your block. Would you get your block for me? And let's squeeze it between our thighs so we can bring ourselves back to where we began, this awareness of that central channel as a source of strength and stability. Arms are very close to the side body, palms face forward. Now I want you to find yourself as you close your eyes. I want you to find yourself in the midst of breathing in a full body experience, a full body breath here. however you have found access to that. So you kind of abandon the experience of your respiratory system, and instead you open to the possibility of experiencing breath on almost the cellular level throughout your whole body. It takes intention and imagination, but you can do it. Stay with that for a few breath cycles now. Simmer down into this strong position of the mountain. Feel the stability of it, and it gives you a sense of ease because you know you're fully supported. And you're experiencing your breath all through your body. Exhale completely. Let's open the eyes now and get a hold of the block. Let's get that block up and overhead. And I'm going to say take a little wider stance, but make sure your feet are parallel. So I don't want your toes to point away from center. I want your toes to point straight ahead, and try a little side to side movement. Imagine you've got another block between your thighs, and you're using that to keep yourself in good alignment through your hips and pelvis. Stretch and hold wherever you are. Stretch and hold. Squeeze the imaginary block between your thighs. Let's soften the knees so we don't feel locked into the knees, but there's a buoyancy there. And we come back up and we do the other side. Buoyancy of the knees. And all the way up. Let's bring that block behind the back now. So you're just going to see if you can move it down, up and down a little. Bring your body, your feet, your legs, your body is in a mountain pose. You're just doing this gentle action of pulling the block away from your back body, now holding it gently. Doesn't take much, does it, to hold that block and pull it away. Head, neck, spine in alignment. Let's hold it away from the body. Breathe. Feel the shoulder blades squeezing toward the center. Take a peek at what's going on with your neck and your shoulders. Relax where you can. And we'll soften all the way out of it. Now we can move the block out of the way. And we're going to use the chair to support us in some standing movements. So I'm going to suggest you have the back of the chair near you so that you could always, stand next to it, hands on it. And here's where I want to make sure I'm giving you as best view of what we're doing. I want you to take a big step forward with the outside leg. So your standing leg is the one near the chair. So the moving leg is taking a big step forward. And then bend into that knee. And as you bend into the front knee, you're lifting the back heel off the floor. So you've got toes and ball of the foot on the back foot is down and the heel popped up. The front foot flat-footed. So you're into what would be called a lunge or a variation of the warrior one posture. Let's just get our arms out of the picture for now. We're going to just use legs and feet. So hold that. The back heel has lifted. Now drop the back heel and let the front leg, that heel pops up. So back foot is flat-footed, and now we have lifted the heel of the front foot. Breathe in and breathe out. This is what I want you to alternate at your own time, at your own space. Flat-footed on the front foot, the back heel pops up. Feel the stretch in the body, and then you'll reset yourself so that the back heel can drop and the front heel can pop up. Keep your gaze straight forward. Find a nice upper strength of the body as you just really focus on what's happening in your feet and your legs, where you're going to alternate one heel at a time, lifting from this posture. So variation of a lunge, or some people would consider this a warrior one, and you're shifting your weight in your feet by lifting one heel and then the other. And just notice when you're lifting your heel, where you're feeling it in your legs, in your body. Stay with it now. Let's do another one on each foot. Hold it and feel it. And feel as you lift high that heel and how you feel in your foot, ankle, and leg. Let's get both feet to the floor now. Both legs are straight. And bring your palms together in front of you. This takes a little balance. I want you to imagine you've got the block between your thighs, even though your thighs are split apart. Imagine you're giving that little squeezing action to those inner thighs. And see if you can raise the arms up. Find a focal point. Both feet are flat, but your legs are straight and in a scissored position. Inhale with me. Exhale, bow to your heart. Inhale up. And exhale, arms expand all the way down. Let's bring our feet together and shake the legs out and turn now so you've got your standing leg near the chair. It's, we've switched directions. So that outside leg is taking a step forward, and we're going to bend into the front knee and let the back heel pop up. Keep your hips squared and you've got your focal point here. I really recommend a hand on the chair, but you wouldn't have to. So if you're feeling a lot of core strength and really feel quite stable in this action, then bring your hands to your hips or waist. And then we begin that movement. So we drop the back heel and let the front heel lift instead. Feel the shift in the body and what that feels like. And then just keep going where you alternate between one foot and the other, lifting a heel. And then going to the other one. Steady breath. Don't hold your breath. That's never going to help. So make sure you're nice and smooth and strong with your breath. Lift up that heel and feel the stretch. Alternating. So each foot is going to lift the heel, and then the other foot will be flat-footed. So keep it up. Let's do one more on each foot where we've lifted the heel one more time on each foot, and then we'll wait and get both feet flattened out and straighten the legs. So we didn't change our position at all. We just straightened the legs. So your feet should be in a scissored position, your legs in a scissored position. Can you bring palms together in front of you? Now take a moment, stare at something, get your focal point, because this is balance. And you can always hold on to the chair. So those arms extended is not mandatory. So if you're losing your balance, just hold on to the chair. Let's lift up, palms overhead. Steady. Inhale with me. Exhale, bow to your heart. Inhale up. Exhale all the way around and down. Get a hold of the chair, bring your feet back together, and we'll shake that out. Last thing here, let's bring our hands to the back of the chair and stretch that out into our L shape, extended forward fold. Feet to the ground. I want you to feel your toes making an imprint as well as your heels. Tuck your chin in towards your throat. Arms extend past your ears. Pull back with your buttocks. Pull back with the hips and buttocks. You're just inviting the stretch, inviting the sensation. Remember, just always remember, you're completely held by your strength of your legs. So extending your arms and having the touchstone of the chair for your hands, beautiful for extending the spine and creating some beautiful stretches in the upper body, but it's not holding you up. Your legs are holding you up, and there's a stability about that. There's a trusting about that. Breathe deeply. Pull back through the buttocks. Try to straighten out the bend of your knee. Slowly now, let's start walking toward the chair. And come into your mountain pose. Let's take some deep breaths here. And then once again, simmer down. Close your eyes. And let's use this time, right now, standing up before we come into Shavasana, to feel the flow of prana. Feel that flow of prana in your body, that charged aliveness that you feel in every cell of your body. Let your breath start to simmer down and just enjoy this charge of vitality. Beautiful. Time to have our seat now. So we're going to bring ourselves around to the chair. In this course, you're going to scoot back into the chair so you've got plenty of support with the backrest. Lean into that. If there's any movement, if there's any posture or stretching that we didn't do that you always love to do, or your body really seems to need it, then be sure to give yourself that. And let this be a sacred time for you that you want to be very comfortable. Feel it's a time of self-compassion, of really nurturing yourself. So, like for us in the north, got to maybe socks come out, we get our little, sweatshirt or our sweater on or a blanket across our lap so we can really feel comfortable and nurtured in this last few minutes of our practice. Deepen your breath. See if you can breathe through the nose. Just try that as you deepen the breath and come into your relaxation time. Try to breathe in and out through your nose. And when it's no longer comfortable or even feels relevant, then just let the breath go and let it be as your breath is. But initially, invite that you're going to breathe both in and out through your nose in a big, full expression of your breathing. Relax your shoulders, soften your belly. Feel your feet to the earth. And then let it go. Let's use that as a mantra when you exhale. Just draw your inhale. And then as you're exhaling, just say to yourself, let it go. And identifying what it might be is not essential right now. But you're just trusting the process of release, releasing what you can. This is a time to really reconnect with your overall intention. I just know that that's part of what brings us all to yoga, our overall intention to connect or reconnect to ourselves with mindfulness and loving kindness. Remember to exhale completely. Let it go. Let it all go. I want you to feel the space around you now. Be aware of the space that you are being held in, not limiting it to the chair itself, but more or less the room, the space that is around you. Allow that to kind of permeate your awareness as one of nurturing, of love, of kindness into the very cells of your body. You're being held in a space of that. Now, gently, let's introduce some movement back into the body. I'm going to suggest you bring your hands together in front of your heart and briskly rub your palms, generating some heat in your hands. Remember, the hands are an extension of the heart energy, so it's kind of a beautiful way to remind yourself that your hands provide a loving touch. And then interlace your fingers and stretch your palms out away from your heart. And then lift those hands all the way up and overhead, stretching those fingers and palms. Let's have eyes open by now. And then release those interlaced hands and release your arms all the way down. I want you to just do some gentle movements, sort of some resetting, get your feet on the earth again. Let's pull ourselves away from the backrest so we can kind of bring our body into right alignment. Get a small little reading, just a saying, a little quote that I found that I just thought was kind of sweet to close out our class time today. So maybe layering your hands on your heart. Eyes open or closed, your choice. The world is a great mirror. It reflects back to you what you are. If you are loving, if you are friendly, if you are helpful, the world will prove loving and friendly and helpful to you. The world is what you are. Let's bring our palms together at the heart. Take a little pause here now, and we're going to sync up our breath. Inhale up, palms are together there for our inhale. Exhale, bow into your heart. Inhale back up. Exhale, let's share this beautiful, loving, helpful, friendly energy with our community. Thanks again for joining me today. Palms will come together at the heart. We bow to ourselves and we bow to one another. Namaste, my friends. Thank you for joining me.
Thanks, Julie.
Thanks, Julie.
Thank you so much.
Bye, Jewel.
Bye. Have a good week.
Thanks, you too.